Evening all. So here we go. We're going to finally move this great big lumbering bloody ship, and the reason is to stop it being smashed apart by bloody asteroids. So here we go. We're going to move it underneath mining station 1, and it's pretty simple. All we need to do is just make sure that we place it so that it's in the shadow. So there we go. That's pretty much what we're going to do. Now, interestingly enough, you'll notice the speed on this thing is still broken. I need to add more engines. It needs to have more powerful engines because there's a lot of metal here being moved and the engines just are nowhere near enough to deal with it. So that's going to be my next task to do over time. And what we're going to do with that is we're actually going to salvage ships to do it. Rather than go and mine hundreds of bloody units again, we're just going to literally park it in the shade, literally in the shade, away from meteorites hitting it, and then we're going to just move it a little bit closer to the asteroid. And then we're going to bring things that we capture to it. So that's the plan, okay? In essence, all we need to do is finish off the engines all around. We need to put loads more engines on this. We need to put guns on this as well, because obviously guns are coming. And you notice that everything's a bit darker in the ship now? Isn't that sweet? We need to put guns on it as well, because I just get the impression that the next thing that's going to come in the game is large turrets are going to work, and they're going to look to defend your ship. And I think just having them fit is going to be absolutely critical. So we're going to take this military mine layer that we managed. You may remember we stole this a few videos back. We managed to figure out what it was. We destroyed all of the mine layers. But then in essence, we've now obviously commandeered this, and we're going to make this. There's a warhead there. Anyway, we're going to make this our bitch. We're going to then start taking bits from it and using it as, I guess, salvage. Now, see what I mean about the 6 axes of directional travel. This thing has lost one of its axes, so it actually is drifting. As I apply thrust to it, it's drifting. So this is actually quite dangerous. So I'm going to edit a lot of this out because I had to really cock about getting this to work because it just didn't want to work. But in essence, it eventually works, and we managed to get this ship relatively close to the flagship. And I edited a lot of it out because it was quite tedious. But what we did is we took all of the engines off that ship, and then we put them on this. And then we're also doing the same with the weaponry as well. I would heartily recommend people do this because I think this is weaponry is going to be incredibly needed, I think, when the game comes. I get this feeling in my water that basically says, what will happen is there will be an awful lot of NPCs that will basically spawn and then fight each other or fly through the sector. And once you declare your support for one side or the other, they will then start to defend you or attack you. So it's very much like Starmaid. Starmaid had that. So having turrets that will automatically defend you and the ship, etc., is going to be needed. I love the idea of wrecking these ships as well. As you see, we're just grinding away all the bits we need. So we're actually taking thruster components. That's all we need, and the computers. That's pretty much what we need. And we're just then building them into our ship here. I love this. It's amazing. So of our 6 main engines, we now have got almost one more trip. We've now almost got all 6 of them working. And what we're going to do is then salvage everything else. So we're going to salvage the heavy metal components here as well. So the heavy armor. That would take forever. So I'm not going to show that. But again, we filled up with thruster components. So we come back to our flagship. You're probably saying to yourself, why didn't you park it closer? I had a feeling that mine layer is booby-trapped. So I'm being a bit cautious here. Plus, the thing is listing. It's actually drifting away because there's no ability for it to completely do a hard stop. So just call me paranoid if you wish, but I didn't trust it. So I'm not going to let that thing anywhere near this fine creation of SquadB. And I think that's for a bloody good cause, if you don't mind my saying. That's the wrong way around. Let me just fix that. But in essence, I would say this is looking pretty promising now. I think the salvaging piece is great. I love that. If you remember the Reavers from Firefly, yeah, that's it. That's what we want to do. You can even literally rip ships in two. That's the beauty of the game. You can literally set your docking clamps on each side, have powerful engines, and rip them in twain. So as we charge up, as we get our health back, we're then looking to obviously continue building. I'm still not entirely happy with this manufactorum, so I think I'm going to have to look at this because it's not working the way I want it to. But otherwise, I would say it's kind of getting there. We've got plenty of parts, we've got plenty of materials and minerals, but ammo, for example, we have no stockpile of ammo. So I think one of the biggest things I'm going to have to build eventually is lots and lots of ammo for the missiles, for the ships, and I think eventually there's going to be a real requirement to build ammo for the large guns as well. So that'll probably be something I look to do again and focus upon maybe with mining. But for now, let's just keep taking all the bits. Now you'll notice as I start grinding, it pushes the ship further away. That's inertia for you. It's only gently doing it, but again, the force is enough to make it a bit of a pain. But there we go. We take what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take all the guns because I think the guns are actually quite useful. They really are. I think the guns are just phenomenally useful, in fact. Because I mean, again, they're not difficult to build, but there's things like 16 motors in each one that's actually quite heavy on gold. So a lot of the parts just make sense to salvage. So large engines and large reactors are just definitely worth doing because they have so many thruster components and reactor components in it. And you have to do multiple trips, but it's just such a pain in the ass to do it. Now, what I am going to do, and I've just thought, I thought this as I was blabbering on, is I'm going to make a little kind of, one-seater thrusting kind of ship with a big cargo hold on it. Like the mining carrier. You may have seen that from the previous videos. And this will be something that I fly, lock onto these large ships, then strip all the good parts, put them into the cargo can, and bring them back to the main ship, and then lock that on. So it's going to be I guess it could even be a small ship, but maybe we'll do large to begin with. And it would just be, well, then again, if you dock a large ship to a large ship, it means that neither can then move. So that it may have to now be a small one, but maybe it's just something that shuttles along with a large cargo can linked to it. And the idea is it just literally where you put all the components that you can then salvage. So you don't have to fly the ship to the flagship all the time, although in essence you probably could do that anyway. Seen so many different things come through as well, and I've not been able to go look at them all. So I had like a personal transport come into the sector and I missed it. Personal conveyance it was, and I was like, damn it, I missed it. So I'm curious to see what happens with those as well. I wonder if they're still being developed where there's loads more. From what I've seen so far, there's at least, I don't know, 7 or 8 different types, probably more as I play. So I think it's getting, they seem to be coming fast and furious, as they would say. So here we go. I'm just going to put our last few guns on. And I was going to put some Gatling guns on the top because I think these, call me stupid, but I think Gatling guns are going to be probably better than missiles. Missiles are going to be very hard to hit things, whereas the Gatling guns will just provide a constant stream of fire like the machine guns do. So something tells me the Gatling guns are going to be so much better. So there we go. Our ship is fixed, its engines are set, its weaponry is set. Now all we need a little bit more of an update, and then we can have some more fun. But I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.